the mind, but I guess it's completely over yourself. For the heart that had a voice, just the past tense, not listen to it anymore. Because of the mind, for the yelling over the voice, such a loud voice that can't ignore, for the focus on everything that was wrong, but it won't let it happen. Cause even if I do good for the ten, and if I do wrong to fight the right, to ride the ones for doing anything to make it to make for the take on the place. Every day for the question. Listening to the mind, but I guess it's completely over yourself. For the heart to have a voice, this the past tense, not listen to it anymore. Because of the mind, for the yelling over the voice, such a loud voice that can't ignore, for the focus on everything that was wrong, but it won't let it happen again. Because even if I do good for the ten, and if I do wrong to fight the right, to ride the ones for doing anything to make it for the take on the place. Every day for the question that comes up with the excuses you can find. Still the same. Conjuring up an emotion and put it in effect in the suppression for all the guys of the mind throws on the idea to continue in the possession for the brain to God, for it's not to happen one at all for your heart, for the bidding the city is for the getting comfortable for the warner to depart. You gotta have the good aim, but it wasn't helping us to be so sensitive and memorizing over the trend. Throw it all for me, for this broken lands to change the tone, for the change of the patterns and the change of anything. It matters and never notice it, but we have to change this line of reason. Perspective for that had to rearrange this picture for the rather than not just a frame. To put an image in that idea for the action to speak louder than words, it will hurt exactly the same. Find ways. Push away those of this to find the vulnerability for the knowing, the hurt for the how, the goals, the pain, the huge insecurity for the checkmate, the piece of the analysis for the freedom of the paralysis of the happiness for the protection for the relationship for the disconnection. Of course, you alone. Rewind and tape to see how to lost this game of chess, this pawn took a piece, this whatever the play, the analysis for the causing a cause of this in case, this whenever to analyze the disappointment that won't appear. You think for all the outcomes to save myself, the tears, the night, the freedom always this be. But mission is still the happiness to protest the pain because you the road to rob you the relationship to making the circle small to start to think of the choices to make this in your thing to just target over to find the spark of this whatever to the room of the people that haven't consumed the growth. The question of close to how far the place it is, the car to this and re-driving yourself crazy anywhere. For the happiness to feel out of reach, and if there's something to hold you back, and to pulling me down on my knees, and then don't tell me that not to think like that. Mind to dissect these thoughts, making everything possible for the tool to find a piece of words of this until you add a meaning to them, but then cut out the judgment for the dissected picture for the false definition of the don't think the mind to be. And the reaping what you sow for the soap of the reaper, the reaper, the soap of the umber, the feeling, the hurt for the catered thought, the melody for the trusting again for like that, for the wrong people that play like a violin, the chords, the sand, the dying to find the real for the unreal too, for whoever the words are for the battle for the go for the ego tap. Stagnation for the light, the wild, and now this eternal for the rhythm. Heartbroken, pulling doubt to shift. No way around it for the knowing of the torn and places where they used to refer to as home, but actually sure to what it was, even thinking and believing in the love it could be making me whole, but it didn't. Broke apart until I recounted the damage it was putting me in for the effort. Nothing would just change, just wish you knew for the had a purpose before I threw it all away for the gave it the space. Safety to finally unleash what I had forever for the been withholding, for the left of me undeterred. Relation over the detriment for the still bleeding truth, for the scars, and the cover for the temporary bandages and the suppressed pain will eventually continue. This is where you finally actually have a chance of somehow admitting the broken pieces to figuring out for who you truly are, for the underneath it all, for the scars of this being honest and just don't currently find the strength to even get started. Find the source of the substance for the missing pieces, for the body to succumb to this broken heart disease it can't be filling with its careless uncertainty. You need to run away you feel for to know where to go, for this one to die here. This need to find a motivation to pull yourself up, and the new would be the devastating and you never imagine how you would find it. I was managed to almost completely kill, for the missing the old you, for the optimistic, for when you had every reason not to be, for the prey to someone, for the love that have the much distant have it better, for the ever the word for the pity. Watch the change, so find the trick and give for the so clean. Swear that I have for the pure toxic. What you find, the status that you can't see. The knees don't work, the teeth decay, for everything hurts inside and out. For the you can find a blur for the remember when you have the rhymes, the heartache, this fine words, look to the brief. Briefly for the laugh of the find it alone, and the problem for the damage, and you don't wait for the killing out of idols and never find it. Shift for the sweet, losing the mind for over your commercials, for the progress in the name, for the setting of the face, forgotten your archaic signals and clear. You couldn't stay here forever, for the whispers and the night, for the better, for the company, for the paper thin, for your kindred spirits, and this is all of your skin, for the bribing of the breath of the wind, for the thralling and the thrilling of the throw, for the air, for the whispered in his head, for the flip the script, the changing the beat, for the frequency. It's moving against the current for forever. It seems closed doors, it always seems shut. An idea for the dating, but the loss of the people not to the found, left waiting. Insanity the beginning for the truly what she sparked. This overthinking for the second of the course, or just a course to find the causing of the flame to go dark from the beginning. Question that doesn't happen, or happiness and happening. For this would be the wombs or the soothing of the sound. For the anxiety fills up on one side, for the other the peace and the loneliness and make up its own. For the maybe the night, for the pride is right, for the better of yourself. For this depression for the shoulders and you can't further transfer. Affect to your mental health for the being, for the better of yourself, for exactly what it is. For this to be to everyone. Exactly what is it going to be for the almost so that you can find a hula hoop, the same exact thing, expected or different for the outcome, for the insanity, for the definition, for the action it's called. Heartbroken, pulling doubt to shift. No way around it for the no-ling of the torn in places where they used to refer to as home, but actually sure to what it was, even thinking and believing in their love. Sing this song, sink or swim, shallow pit of the void, lady. I'll see you with contempt this month with the demeanor of your draft and your claim. Grace and innocent jury behind the birth, the saint is not. Truly blood for the meal with the continuously seep with the oozing of the skin for the tattered the shredding over the picket fences the right lies justifying the calling of the name for the one thing and die for the moment for the dead we know for the innocence riches and the deserve for the desert for the which you've been lost in to stray for the I could become what I became for the movement for the appearance of a man for the couldn't love himself for the incredible life of the great membership would be the remembrance of the fingerprints in every line for every rhyme you write. Once you do hit the message, break the mind for never the poetry, perfect for the head up of the gift for the clear of the mind for the soul to resurrect for the death is only the physical absence of what you hit for the constant of the heart deep in your chest an incredible light. Restore for the that for the what to make the wife and spend the time with the incredible and edible for the engraved for the wonderful man you find it into the emptiness. And they got out their hearts again for the crowds and crowds and just to sing for the emotions locked in within for the joints and tissue for the wipe away the nose and tears for the eyes and the sweat for the cutting of the wood you found it touching the emotional side of this the purgator for the serpent of the lips within the garden the ashes the feeling of the lies and the thinking of the wrong opportunity. Tangled in the thorny brush this branch this life flash and find a repeat Lord you can find a sip of the water for the dying of the heat. Unbendable light for the story that stays and poem to write the impact of every rhyme and saving your life for the well spent the time I find. It was all within the universe suspended an imagination from the selfishness and for the hand and experience and just sharing. As to find the beast within the earth for the always emotion from the velvet and over the spans of this and bruise and cold. The shivering in the glass and shadows of the rain this voice of when your soft screech when your wings and racing anticipation for the common thread. No matter how the pain truly would deal with you feel for the times and dreams of this holding you. The day becomes darkness in the wonder but what you can be true to realize yourself in for the series as but a thought for the picture pictures calling your name for the fortress of the pain for the giving yourself the blueprints of the mission to make clear. The voices to go away from the being and able to love yourself right away for the instant heal the pain the pain for the dance and the heat the die for the no but you still love it closer back up with the holding hands and that's the way to find I got me love. Depression ain't no game or joke. This path, what you covered into the covered lane. For this to cross in the skin, for the virtue, for the scooter, never the preferred to make the distance space. To the scapegoat, the earth star, for the knowledge of the way to this by fair. You still love, still love, still all still think for the love that you used to, for the some of the you knew. The silence of what you can't explain, the quiet, the cold of the pain is for the charming in the water, the cascade, voice to hear the call, the shout of the scream. The cosmos within for the ocean, the love is stretched far beyond the dreams, out of tide, unseen, still waiting at the door for the scream of the wishing well, for the moments of the spirits, the pain, the darkness, for the time you find it's something to happen. I wish for the fame, but the wishing to be ready for the crumble that doesn't need the help, but this one to find it when you see. Give myself the petals of heaven to find a feet to the God of the love me not this brain for the return for the laughing and the fixing of the eye. The original sin for the golden time, waiting the bar with the echoes of the voice of the dirt for the right next to the ones who try to please and the face and listen, find the ways and the rest and the ways of life and the forbidden love for the lesson the same for the notes and the whispers of the way to find it maybe topic for the human control the winner for the better for the egg and everything. Close to reality, peaching the book, the bottom to the fire, the voice and echo sweet and the this drowning in the piano for the dying of the bottom for the prana with you have the stomach of the for the cover of the drink of the comfort for the mothers of the found feel safe for the falling apart for this dishonor over the hidden treasure. Piles of dust to the floor for what you dark and find and find details in the garden to the world finished with the gloom. Water with the tides we call the moon. Mining entities with the captivating face of the emerald depth. This eye shine bright, this fleet to listen the rose of the vanishing of the night. Secret step with the wet roots, the riding cold and grip, the secret steps, this remains tension that grows, finding the warmth to behold the breath. As on the surface of the drain for the essence of the who you are, for the who I am, for the grounding of the energy for the all mindfulness. tries to put out the disturbing hands in your own for what you want for the answer for another verse. The hypocrite for the strong woman, they're fighting their dreams, demanding the justice for the need for the
heartbroken, pulling doubt to shift. No way around it for the knowing of the torn in places where they used to refer to as home, but actually sure to what it was, even thinking and believing in the love it could be making me whole, but it didn't. Broke apart until I recounted the damage it was putting me in for the effort. Nothing would change. Just what she knew for the had a purpose of the before, threw it all the way for the gave it space. Safety to finally unleash what I had forever for the been withholding, for the left of me undeterred. Nation over the detriment, for the still bleeding truth, for the scars it is to cover, for the temporary bandages and the suppressed pain will eventually continue. At least this way you finally actually have a chance of somehow admitting the broken pieces to figuring out for who you truly are, for the underneath it all, for the scars of this being honest and just don't currently find the strength to even get started. Find the source of the substance for the missing pieces, for the body to succumb to this broken heart disease it can't be feeling with its careless uncertainty. You need to run away, you feel, for to know where to go, for this wanted to die here. This ain't to find a motivation to pull yourself up, and the new would be the devastating, and I never imagined how you would find it, but love has managed to almost completely kill you. For the missing the old you, for the optimistic, for when you had every reason not to be, for the prey of someone, for the love that had too much, this and have it better, for the ever and worth for the better. Watch the change, so find the trickling over the so clean. Sweat of the half with the pure toxic. What you find, the status and you can't see. The knees don't work, the teeth decay, for everything hurts inside and out. For the you can find a blur, for the remember when you at the rhymes, the heartache, this fine words to look to the grief. Briefly for the laugh of the trying of the alone, and the problem for the damage and you don't. Whether for the killing out of idols and never finding. Shift for the sweet. Losing the mind for over your commercial list. The progress in the name for the setting of the faith, forgotten your archaic signals and clear. You couldn't stay here forever for the whispers in the night, for the better, for the company, for the paper thin, for the your kindred spirits and this assault on your skin, for the bribing of the breath of the wind, for the thralling and the thrilling of the roar, for the air, for the whispered in his head, for the flip the script, the change the beat, for the frequency. This moving against the current for forever, it seems closed doors, it always seems shut. An idea for the hating, but the loss of the people knocked to us, the fam left waiting. Sanity beginning for the truly was your spark. This overthinking for the second, the course, this of course, to find the causing of the flame to go dark in the beginning. Question it doesn't happen, or happiness and happening. For this to be the wombs or the soothing of the sound. For the anxiety fills up on one side, for the other the peace and the loneliness and make up its own. For the maybe the knife for the pride was right, for the better of yourself. For this the pressure for the shoulders that you can't further transfer. Effect to your mental health for the being, or for the better of yourself, for exactly what it is. For this to be the everyone. Exactly what is it going to be for the almost so that you can find a hula hoop, the same exact thing, expected or different for the outcome, for the insanity, for the definition, for the action it's called. observation is counting. And the final second takes where you want to be. Without the observation is counting. Without the observation is counting. It would be polite not to be blind. Passage is broken in rhyme, healing in the vein. Wrong time, right person, discouraged from what you pass and walk. The echoes in the autumn, the wind is drifting your laughter. There's lost and leaves and still the silence speak. Mirrors and reflection, just a language and stern reflection of ripped shadows spit between the being wide and sides, whispers in the soft freedom. Others grow tall and burdened with the weight and jagged. Shame knowing it, oppressing the finger to the surface, you're crushing your fracture clean. The truth is not dissolved here, nor does mercy bloom for the edge, just nor the growth meet for the turned away from the wither of the judge. To the judge and accused of the world for being sharp because the blade grows from our own root. Holds plain wisdom in the enemy of the saving both. This search for the foe, shadows deep, this whispers of the weeping and the nightmares creeping at every dawn. For the light so clear, the face was drawing near. Battle lines of the falsely drawn disappeared before the dawn. Not out there, but in there. I found the enemy of my own ground, his face so familiar, but yet split in two. One part false, and yet the other true. From each morning glance out of plead, was reconciled with the war and the mirror that holds no mercy bright. Shadows are dark, it shows the light for the frame. The truth appears of the greatest foe. Known for years, not in the valley nor the hill, but the heart for the inconstant chill for the fight within, but the end is afraid. Where shadows dance, light gives away. For now I stand, this sword in hand, and face the foe. For I understand no more certain. No more to flee, for the enemy gets none but me. But this throne shown through the storm and the fire, through the pain and the fear. The path to peace of this crystal clear, for heal the drift, this mend the scan. The weight for the drift, the divided dream of the salt for the foe behind the wall, for the searching of the tales and shadows all sail. Yet here I stand, no blade, no war, no mirror to show the face no more for the habit. Colliding of the white strife, this judge of hope. Plead for shaping my life with a line desire. It's all with no side to wear. The real enemy besides it. Be still. Be still. God is here. shallow pit of the void, lady. Those to you with contempt is love, but the demeanor of your draft and your claim. shallow pit of the void, lady. Those to you with contempt is love with the demeanor of your draft and your claim. Grace and innocent charity behind the birth, the saint is not. The paper cover that say the words are cut deep.
They were truly blood for the new, for the continuously seep with the losing of the skin, for the tattered, the shredded, for the pick offenses, the right lies, justifying the calling of the name, for the you want them. The die for the mummy, for the dead, no, for the innocence, and desert, for the desert, for the, what you've been lost in, for the stray, for the I could become what I became, for the never the hoop, for the appearance of a man, for the couldn't love himself, for the incredible life of the prey. The ship will be the remembrance of the fingerprints in every line, for the every rhyme that you write. And you might. And once you do, the hit, the miss, the break, no mind, for never the poetry, will be perfect, for the head up of the kid, for the clear of the mind, for the soul, the resurrect, for the death is only the physical absence of what you hear, for the hospital bed. Heart deep in your chest, an incredible light. What a story for the that, for the what to make the wife and spend the time with the incredible and edible, for the engraved, for the wonderful man you find it. Ditch of the emptiness. And they kind of dark. Blood for the new, for the continuously seep with the oozing of the skin, for the tattered, the shredding, for the picket fences, the right lies, just to find the calling of the name, for the you want them. The die for the moment, for the dead, for the innocence, riches of the desert, for the desert, for the what you've been lost in, for the stray, for the I can become what I became, for the never the hoop, for the appearance of a man, for the couldn't love himself, for the incredible life of the prey. The ship will be the remembrance of the fingerprints in every line, for the every rhyme that you write. And you might. No mind, for never the poetry will be perfect, for the head up of the kid, for the clear of the mind, for the soul to resurrect, for the death is only the physical absence of what you hear, for the hospital bed. Heart deep in your chest, an incredible light. What a story for the that, for the what to make the wife and spend the time with the incredible and edible, for the engraved and the wonderful man you find it. Ditch of the emptiness. And they kind of our hearts again with the crash just to sink, for the emotions locked in within, for this joint to tissue with the wipe away the nose, the tears, for the eyes, and the sweat, for the cutting of a loop, but you finally touching the emotional side, the distant purgator, for the serpent of the lips within the garden, the ashes, the feeling of the lies, and the picking of the wrong apple to eat. Entangled in the thorny brush, this branch, this life flash, and find the repeat, Lord. You can find the sip of the water for the dying of the heat, unbendable light for the story that stays upon the right, the impact of every rhyme, and the saving your life and the well spent the time I find. All with the universe suspended in imagination, for the selfishness of it, for the hate and experience and just shared. Earth after find the beast within the earth, for the always emotion, for the feather over the spans of this bruise and gold, for the shivering in the glass and shadows of the rain, this moistening over your soft secretion, over your racing anticipation for the common thread. No matter how the pain truly what you deal, what you feel, for the times and dreams of this holding you. And the day becomes darkness in the wonder, but what you can be true to realize yourself in, for this series as well. For the preacher just calling your name, for the fortress of the pain, for the giving yourself the blueprints and the mission to make clear. And the voices to go away, for the being unable to love yourself right away, for the is to heal the hate, the hand, the pain, and for the dance, and the heat, the die, for the no, but you will still love it, close it back up with the holding your hands, and that's the way to find the agape love. And impression ain't no game or joke, this path in which you covered into the covered lane, for this the cause of the skin, for the virtue, for the screwed, and for the preferred to make the distance spank to the scapegoat, the earth star, for the knowledge of the way that is by fair. And you still love, still lost, still pain for the love that you used to, for the some of the for the silence of what you can't explain, the quiet, the cold of the pain is for the charming of the water, and with the cascade, the voice is here to call, the shout out, the scream. And the cosmos within, for the ocean of love that stretch far beyond the dream, silent tide, the unseen, still waiting at the door, for the screaming of the wishing well, for the moments of the spirits, the pain, for the darkness, and well, the kind you find is nothing to happen. I wish for the fame, but I wish it to be written, for the karma that doesn't mean to help, but this one to find it, make you see. And think to myself what it could be, need to be, for the petals and never to find the feet of the God, and never to love me not, this praying for the be the turn, for the laughing into the face of the yearn. The original sin for the growing the tired, awaken the bar with the echoes of the voice in the dirt, for the right next to the ones who try to please every place, and this to find the ways in the wind and the waves of life, and the forbidden love for the less of the same, for the waves of the whispers of wait to find the grief may be hollow, for the you may be cold, the winter to the bitter, for the aching the bloom. Closer reality, pitching the breeze over the violence of the violent vocal cords with echo sweet release. This drowning of the piano for the dying of the bottom for the prana for the you can have the snowing of the for the covering of the dream for the comfort for the mothers over the define feel safe for the falling apart for this dishonor over your hidden treasure. Piles of dust to the floor for what you dark wood and find the fine details of the garden to still grow finished over the groove. Water with the tides of the call the moon. Where the demonic entities for the captivating face of the emerald for the depths, this eye shine bright, this for your list the rose of the banishing of the night. Secret steps for the wet boots, the biting cold for the rope, the secret steps, this remains tension that grows, to find it the warmth to behold the breath, there for the circuses for the dream, for the essence of the who you are, for the who I am, for the rerouting of the energy, for the own mindfulness. Still I rise, put out the trembling hands of your own for what you want, for the answer, for another version, the hypocrite, for the strong woman, the fighting their dreams, the humanity, justice for the angel, for the